We want to have a conversation now about development and looking at development from a point of not just Kenya, but from a point of Kenya and our neighbors. Who is it we have in the studio? We have two guests in the studio with us from the Economic Development Board of Mauritius. We will be discussing with them the role of strengthening regional value chains in Africa and why Africa. Before we welcome them, let me give you the day's proverb on behalf of C.T. Muga, who is still away this week. The proverb is from where? Ivory Coast. The Ivorian proverb says, if you're not going to bite, don't show your teeth. If you're not going to bite, don't show your teeth. Just keep your mouth shut.
A number of people do that. It happens often.
Yeah.
The threat of the bite, but then it actually doesn't happen. Hence the proverb.
You will see. We will leave no stone unturned.
I will come for you.
No effort will be spared. Everything shall be done to ensure, and then nothing is done. Right? We've got two guests in the studio, and they are from the country of Mauritius. One of them is Hemraj Ramnial. He's the chairman of the Economic Development Board of Mauritius. His colleague, who is the director of industry in the same board, Geerish Bucktowonsing, is also in the studio. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good to have you on the show. Welcome to the hot seat of Kenya's biggest conversation. There are two. Consider them the hot seat of the conversation.
It's quite warm in this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic.
Yes, good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Hemraj, good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
When you hear that proverb from Ivory Coast, does it relate to what you've come across, even in your own country, Mauritius?
Well,
if you're not going to bite, don't show your teeth.
I think this the situation now. I will say we need to consider the evolution of the economic environment, especially post-COVID, and also the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, which is, I think, in the past few days is deteriorating. I think the challenges is for the young people now. Young people in Mauritius, young people in Kenya, young people in other African countries. Our responsibility as the lead agency, the institutions, is to create the opportunities for young people. I think that's why we are here today, this morning, as chairman of the Economic Development Board of Mauritius, which is the lead government agency for promotion of investment, promotion of trade, goods and services. And also, I think we are doing everything to attract investment in the country. I think we are today in Kenya is more symbolical. I think because our relationship with Kenya dates back for many years now. But as I will say again, the global environment has changed. It will continue to change. So coming to our partner and making a very robust and vibrant collaboration, that's the purpose of our visit. And maybe we'll
talk about this in greater detail.
Yeah.
So the board, you say it's the foremost government agency for promotion of trade.
Yeah.
So is it for promotion of trade within the country, or is it for promotion of export of goods and services from Mauritius? Because we've got two similar agencies in Kenya. We've got Ken Invest, which looks at promoting investments from foreigners into the country. And then we've got the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding, which looks at promoting Kenya's products and services abroad. So what exactly do you do? Which of those two are you?
We are for both export of goods and services, and also for attracting investment into our country. That's the way we do. I think just example, we are leading a delegation of exporters, medium-sized exporters who are here in Kenya. We'll have a business forum on Thursday. So the purpose of this visit is for them to at least to meet the Kenyan counterparts, and they cover different sectors. The purpose is to the future, the relations that they have, how to build the synergy, and how to export the goods to Kenya. I think that's for the goods. And also we are thinking about the partners, Kenya partners, business people, that who can also invest in Mauritius, and also I think inward and outward also. Mauritius entrepreneurs also who would like to come and I think
invest
there are
in
very
Kenya.
numerous opportunities in Kenya with the evolution of the economy. I think more opportunities both sides.
Geerish, as the Director of Industry, of course, you would be looking at promoting Mauritian industries and how then also people can come and invest in that country. Which is a bigger focus? Is it attracting FDI into Mauritius, or is it seeking markets for Mauritian products?
No, both are relatively important. Okay, we can't say one is more important than another. But what is important for us to know, Eric, in the context that we have gone, even Kenya has shown resilience to what has happened. Mauritius has shown resilience to what we have gone through in this period of uncertainties. We are at a period of time when we are looking and speaking in this term of Africa. We are Africans, me and you, Kenya, Mauritius, we are Africans. We belong to the same bloc, Comesa. There is a CFTA coming. So we are talking about one Africa to do the exchange of goods, services, and people. So in that context, I'm thinking from that perspective to add to what Chairperson said. When we come with the 25 operators, Mauritius is not only a touristic resort. Mauritius is telling that we take advantage of what is prevailing at the moment with the Comesa. Our product that we manufacture goes without duty here, and we do big things. We do a number of things. And on the other hand, we said with the alliances that Kenya is having to reach out, throughout the number of countries of Africa, through Ethiopian Airlines, through the roads, you'll become focal point. So your strength or what you did in agriculture, we are very proud when we see Kenyan products going to Europe. When you see your successful story about coffee, peanuts, or even the vegetable that you're exporting, we are very proud to see that. Africa is being represented. And when Mauritius has earned a good name in textile, apparel, medical services, or whatever product, that we have earned a good level. So it's coming from here. So the common objective, the common challenge, we need to increase the intra-trade. And Kenya and Mauritius can show the way. That intra-trade, which is nearly 15% in Africa, very less as compared to Europe, we show the way we can contribute to double it. So I think we need to be ambitious. We need to dream. And, not only seated on the hot seat, but we are warm.
So Hemraj, these conversations seem to be mushrooming, maybe have escalated, in certain circles over the last few years. So then the question is then, why is the focus then on Africa, and why is the focus on Africa now? This intra-trade that we talk about, why not before? Or are we only seeing the potential today?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, because I think the efforts have been made in the past to reach out to Africa, through Comesa, to SADC, but I think we should realize that there have been sufficient efforts, or the focus was more, for example, from Western Europe or for Far East Asia, something like this. But the global environment has changed. I think to reach out to the region, and we had SADC and COMESA, I think is more relevant, is more pertinent in the circumstances now, because why look at very far distance by our side? Mauritius, Kenya is only 4 hours flight. I travel past on Monday night. It's 4 hours. Mauritius is close to Kenya. Mauritius is close to other African countries, and So why we have to leverage on these opportunities, you see. But we need institutions. We need the institutional framework to work on that, you see. We should create the synergy. We should create the environment. We have been resilient. Kenya also have been resilient. I have been moving around and see that the vibrancy here. Tremendous opportunities.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to discuss with some people here. I think we are talking about the medium-sized operators, the small size, and also from Mauritius also. Not only to consolidate the sector or exports, creating jobs, but also expanding the foundation, getting more people around. I think that's the objective. And this, we are, as Geerish said, we are African country. In Mauritius there. We had a relationship. I think we have to build on that, leverage on that, and let's Africa stand on its feet. ourselves. That's the vision for the people. The African leaders are together. So I think we can, once we join hands together, we walk the talk, I think that will be the future.
You know, the conversation about Africa rising, Africa working together, promoting intra-Africa trade, everybody says that same thing. I mean, it's like a very beautiful song.
Yeah.
But then what is it that makes us not move as fast? We established the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Now we are still talking about, selecting some countries that are going to pilot. Kenya is among them. But how much speed is there in the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area? How much, synergy has there been since the establishment of COMESA, which you are also a member as Mauritius? How much potential are we really dropping?
Yeah. Well, let me, to bounce back to what has been stated by the chairperson and talking about Africa and replying also to your subsidiary question that follows, okay? The uncertainties of COVID is teaching everybody lessons. Because for too long, there's a paradox. We are strong in raw materials, but the brands is outside. You're strong in cotton. The brand is European and American. The chocolate remains Switzerland. For too long, it is going like this. But when COVID came and the prise de conscience become more and more focused among the policymakers and leaders, and everyone is talking about it. But from the context of Mauritius, being a small island with no big markets and no raw materials, this is what we have been doing always, transformation and selling products. And what we have been doing prior to that, we have companies that grow cotton next to us in Madagascar.
Yeah.
We develop the yarn. We export to Africa only. We are a company coming to Mauritius, bringing the gold from Africa. We are refining for export. So there are many examples like this. And the question now when we are talking about an economy like McKinsey predict $5.6 trillion in African business opportunities, and if progressive countries like ours, Mauritius and Kenya, don't show the way, we have to show the way. Because, there are a number of issues associated when you develop this particular value chain, okay? Logistics, the way you need to connect, to get people to stop saying no and see and value our brands. So there's a number of investment that goes on in that. Investment in terms of energy, people, etc. But once you unlock the door, see the arrangement that you are having with Ethiopian Airlines to reach a number of countries, including cargo. See, in Mauritius' perspective, what we did with regards to COVID, we came with a scheme called freight rebate scheme that allow Mauritian exporters to go to a number of ports of Africa and get a refund of nearly $300 per 20-feet container. Okay? So
Freight rebate scheme.
Okay? So you see, the initiative of each country, and if we can combine it together and be complementary, and we walk along this idea of making through Africa, okay, instead of we buying our raw materials from Asia, we'll increase our intra-trade. This will be good for the GDP of every country. So the question is, we did it on small scale. Now we want good, reliable partners to do it in a bigger scale. And that's why the chairperson is here. I'm here. A delegation of 25 people from Mauritius are here with the category of product that they are bringing and that they have been selling to five-star hotel in Mauritius, water tubs, sinks, all these things that we are doing will eliminate or diminish, to a certain degree, the imports that we are doing from outside Africa.
I think that will be, I would decide on that, to completely reduce the scale of imports from the Far East or China or India. It will be quite, in the first instance, quite difficult to that. But gradually, are we moving inward and try to set up our enterprise, and then that will help to at least to curb, the level of imports from other countries.
So what does this look like practically? When we're talking about, all right, Mauritius, an island with very limited natural resources, but still is saying we are playing within these regional blocks. We're playing, through in these trading blocks. So what does it look like practically? What is it that Mauritius has done for you to say, okay, we can still be, a powerhouse. We can still be a strong trading partner with what?
Yeah. I would say, if we go back to the, I think in the 70s and 80s, I think we have moved on the industrialization in Mauritius very fast by phases. And I think we have now, I would say, about 50 years of experience for the industries. And I think the culture has really synced in, and people are more keen to embrace new changes. I think the business model that we have in the past has changed. There's evolution. Now it's more. Previously it was more labor intensive, but now it's more other types of business models. I think that will help. I think the entrepreneurship that we are promoting in Mauritius, and also would like to also join hands together also in Kenya or other countries, because this is the first leg. We're moving to Tanzania after that, after Botswana. So we are moving to other two places later on. But that's the spirit. That's the spirit we are bringing. The experience, the expertise that we have gathered, because we do have multinationals in Mauritius. Over the years, some very few have stayed, but others, Mauritians, have taken the lead, and they are moving fast, and they are doing very well. So as we go along, I think that will be the way that we can have a new business model or partnership between Mauritius and Kenya and other countries also.
What would the view look like? If we look at the 19 or so members of COMESA, for example, so Kenya, Mauritius, and the others are members of COMESA. Now, Mauritius is known for, tourism and also the financial services, right? What else would you say that Mauritius then brings to the table? I'm basically pointing the question this way.
Yeah.
There has been some argument that such regional blocks should look at strengths and leveraging on each country's strengths. If a certain country is very strong on production of raw material, another country then would be very strong on the processing and value addition, that is the industries in that country, and then supplying in the entire market. Would that be a direction that you think we should take, or should we just continue doing what we're doing? You have people who are growing coffee in Kenya, in Rwanda, in Uganda, in Ethiopia, and we end up competing on who has the best factory.
No, I think we have to go to respond to these questions to the facts and figures. Okay, the complementary approach has always been our approach. The UNCTAD index about transformation already shows the indexes with regards to Mauritius being number one in transformation. That's what we are strong. And coming back to the question of Indu that was saying, what were the lessons learned, what we Mauritius is bringing, okay, with regards to that 50 years plus of experience that we are having. So imagine we, a Mauritian company, starting in a garage that end after 20 years to be a lead exporter of garments to USA. Imagine this company is dressing the royal family through barber. Imagine Mauritius now developing medical catheter that we are exporting to India. The catheter, and we are looking to be the focal point in the region when it comes to medical devices. Okay, you have Ireland in Europe, you have Mexico. In Africa, we are still buying from everywhere. Okay, imagine when it comes, to the type of spirits that we have developed out of the extract of the juice of cane, being nominated best rum category award. And imagine we are supplying this, the brand, in the region. So this is what we are looking to do, because every country have got their uniqueness and what they did very well. We have a very big market. A very big market of billion people, 1.3 billion people among an important youth population over here. So what we are talking is there is place for everybody. What we require is probably to be daring, to be passionate, to be tenacious, okay, and to make the dream real. And of course, everyone will not be moving at the same speed. And that's the reason for us in Mauritius, that we have been doing it, in the middle of the Indian Ocean. We have been selling to Europe, to USA, to South Africa, and we want to diversify. And that's like-minded partners are those partners that we can see in Kenya. Like-minded partners who believe in democracy, who have such an ecosystem, and obviously will be able, to make the dream real.
It seems easy, isn't it, that what you would need to do is just flip the switch and then everybody would get on to this, because in the mind it would appear that, look, we are developing and these things on the continent. Why not trade amongst ourselves? If Mauritius is doing this, why must Kenya, why must Ethiopia, why must Rwanda buy from outside the continent, looking on the western side of the continent as well? So if it seems so easy for the mind to fathom, what is the challenge then of implementation? Why is it so
I think
difficult?
the response to this question is very important. I think the strategy that we have adopted and our presence today for Mauritius and the direction from our Prime Minister, from the government, is a visionary. And the fact that we have come to Kenya, and I mentioned it earlier, it's not only Kenya. We're moving to Botswana, and we are going to Tanzania also. In the recent past, we had missions to South Africa, and we are reaching out to other African countries. I think the first the step will be at least to reach out to each other, understand the strength, the opportunities, share our views. At the end of the day, when we leave Kenya, we'll be able to understand the ecosystem, the facilities, the opportunities. The people will be able to reach out, attend our business forum. Similarly, in other countries also, in Rwanda, Botswana, we need to identify the opportunities. We'll have to understand the weakness. Which country is strong in what sector? By doing so, we're not going to waste resources. We have to at least, on the African side, how best we can leverage on each other, as you see. So once we attain that kind of situation, at least as a block, at the regional block, we become stronger. I think we have to elevate ourselves. We have to go to another level. But the communication strategy, reaching out, I think opening and missions not only from Mauritius, mission to Mauritius also, very, very important. From Kenya, we're inviting the entrepreneurs, the businessmen to come to Mauritius. Once we understand each other, that is the first, which maybe we have not done enough. I think we have to understand this. We have done enough, but we need to oppose COVID, post all this situation. It's a compelling situation. We have to work.
This is the only way.
The only way is to leverage on our resources, on our strength.
To look inwards. Let's take a break at this point. It's 8:30. This is Kenya's biggest conversation. Our guests this morning are from Mauritius, from the Economic Development Board of Mauritius. This is a premier government agency that promotes trade and investment with and within Mauritius. Hemraj Ramnial is the chairman of the board, and Geerish Bucktowonsing is the director of industry. They are here in the country with a delegation of 25 entrepreneurs, meeting with Kenyan delegations of entrepreneurs and government agencies as well, looking at how we can grow partnerships, strengthening regional value chains in Africa. What is it that we can do within Africa to grow intra-Africa trade?
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Hemraj Ramnial is the chairman of the Economic Development Board of Mauritius, and Geerish Bucktowonsing is the director of industry. And the same board, they are here in the country leading a delegation of about 25 entrepreneurs, meeting with the Kenyan counterparts and government officials as well, to explore ways of strengthening business relations and also strengthening regional value chains in Africa. We talk about very many things about intra-Africa trade. All the figures are bandied around. McKinsey and the others talk about, in the next couple of years, X amount of business is going to be traded intra-Africa. We have, of course, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. We've got the regional blocks, COMESA, the EAC, the SADC, the ECOWAS, and all the others, and looking at how can we improve our relations within Africa. But like you two gentlemen are saying, something has actually catalyzed our thinking into fast-tracking our thinking. And this is the COVID pandemic and then the ongoing skirmishes in Europe, which are making Africans look at and seeing how can we start relying more and more on trade within Africa and leveraging our strengths. We are very resource rich in terms of raw material, in terms of human capital, in terms of the expertise that we need. But then we end up importing a lot of what we import from outside Africa. We've got to change this. It has to be a paradigm shift. And this is a conversation that needs to keep happening all over and continuously. But then how do we leverage our individual strengths as countries so that then we don't look at it from political lenses and see, if Kenya is talking about this and Tanzania is sitting there, Tanzania sees this is competition, so let us stall the progress of this conversation. How do we leverage our individual strengths as countries in Africa?
I think we have to address, you say you're right on this, the mindset, on the leadership side, I think as Mauritius, because as we are mentioning about the delegation of 25 entrepreneurs is more symbolical because we are expecting more people. I think the momentum will grow and will gather the strength, and we have more people coming. But similarly, we are expecting perhaps we had meetings recently, maybe 50 business people visiting Mauritius in the next few months. There's one aspect which we need to at least focus, also at least redirect people on that. We have trade agreements with China, FTA China, with India, with Turkey, with Pakistan, and all these trade agreements just give the facility, to access to the world population, to the market, a huge market of 70%. But we need to do things. We need to walk the talk. We need to create the momentum and create the ecosystem. What I was thinking of, and in Mauritius, we have the facilities, we have this, logistics, the free port like this. We need to think of value addition, the transformation, you see. How can we go, at a high level? That will help at least then opportunities for imports within ourselves, Africa. Example from Kenya, businessmen having a satellite unit in Mauritius with the support from China, from the India. Once we have this kind of system, then we export to Kenya, we export to other countries, because we are thinking of leveraging on the distribution side also. Like Kenya become the distribution hub for Mauritius. But partnership is not only for Mauritius. Partnership, Kenya businessmen with Mauritian businessmen working together in Mauritius. And similarly, also from Mauritius in Kenya also. So once we do that, we have the trade agreements. We talk about COMESA, SADC, all this, you see. Then other countries also, out Africa, you see. I think what we need to do, we have to stimulate, we have to encourage people, you see. The conversation, you say, needs to happen. It's happening. Our presence here at high profile is more symbolical. And I think we have to gather momentum.
Yeah.
We have to think all the leadership, I think is happening. But as we move on, that will encourage more people to think in this way, intra-region trade, and I think that will give the results for the countries.
How?
I would say that, yes, Chairperson is right, but if we have to put it in words or what you are trying to say, the continuous, consistent, incredible efforts from all of us, all countries. Can you imagine from the perspective of African market, we are still importing sugar from elsewhere. And Mauritius has got an industry of sugar that has been innovating a lot. True, the price of sugar has been going down, but we innovate with the special sugars. With type of sugar for diabetes, low GI sugar. So this is a uniqueness for Mauritius. They have put a number of strength, a number of investment in it. The same things happen, when we see coffee tomorrow. We don't know coffee. You know coffee better than us. You are stronger in the making of coffee. You have been very strong in the cultivations of vegetables as per global GAP norms.
Yeah.
Kenya lead the way. So the point is, what approach? Whenever we are importing also vegetables in Mauritius, and we can, why should we see in other direction? We should see in this direction. And that dependency, on Asia probably has been because we were getting it at a cheaper price. And probably the approach will be, best product at a competitive price from Africa. We have the challenges of logistics. We can't connect with each other so well. The freight aspect, the boat aspect, how the cargo is coming. So all this will be sorted out when there's volume trade. So we have to start somewhere. And we cannot think of it's going to be a smooth flow. There are challenges, but we have to face it while move on.
And you have to start that, and that for sure. How do you see this playing out we're looking at this intra-regional trade, continental trade, and agreements. How do you see this playing out vis-a-vis the protectionism that is being sought for local practitioners, for the farmers in Mauritius, for the farmers in Kenya? What do you feel needs to happen first for them before the conversation happens with another country?
Yes, I guess when it comes to the ground, to where we are having the raw material, the source, and that there is this level of standard that should be brought. You taught us a very good lessons with your global gap. Okay, I think this should be the standard of whatever products that we are doing, because we are having different objectives, when we are going for that development of the industry. What we are talking about, industrialization within Africa at the end of the day, which is strong in the agenda of our African Union, and which is strong in the SDG goals, which is strong in the fight for elimination of poverty, and which is strong in uplifting of nations. So we should have to start at the base. Yes, that mindset should be there. We cannot go like we keep on exporting our raw materials everywhere in the world. And then, even in the plantation of cotton, there are different, climate change, climatic conditions, the type of cotton that's coming up, which is best for which type of product. There should be an harmony in all that. And we cannot say one should stop growing cotton on the next day. We need all that, because as per season, you have to ensure that you're getting cotton from wherever, but throughout the year. So we have to take advantage of our big geography, 54 countries, the uniqueness of each of us. We don't tell anyone, you stop doing this. No. But you progress strategically to a level of quality that we are competitive in international market.
I think I would like to add, the approach also, the inclusive approach of this segment of the society, the farmers, the people who need support, who need to come in the mainstream. We cannot leave them out. When this progress, the economic development, everyone should be seen to be part and parcel of this movement. The farmers, those people, of course, education is very important, and driving technology. The farmers and it's happening in Mauritius also. What they have done is investing in the education of the children. The children are taking the lead now, and gradually technology is helping us. The agri-tech, agri-hub, technology-driven activities. Every segment of society need to be seen that, and we have common, challenges in Mauritius, in other countries, you see. But the driving force will remain education.
Nice.
It reach out to the people. The healthcare also. The healthcare comes together. In Mauritius also we have come across this one, you see. But when we have an inclusive approach, the people buy in, they are encouraged to join forces together. And the transformation, start from there. Then, as we move on the production side, large-scale production, then they find that the products are competitive, the market readiness, they are reaching out to different countries. So the whole ecosystem moved to another level where people, they find themselves there. You see. I think that's the approach should be about. We are having it in Mauritius. We are investing a lot on this, and I think we can share and also learn from Kenya what things happening, because you have a very the broad base of SMEs, medium size, everything, you see, and that's the segment where we need to create jobs, and we can do it massively once we understand and leverage on the strength.
I think those things, in my very layman thinking, would require two sets of approaches, or both of them working together, private sector and public sector. Now, when it comes to public sector, this is why you bring in now the politics of the individual countries. There's political goodwill, building of political trust, and fighting the suspicions that would come in with politics. So, for instance, with your country, Mauritius, because of your tax policies, you're considered a tax haven. And so there are many companies then that say, we are registered in Mauritius, and they enjoy some sort of tax benefit by being registered in Mauritius. And some people would then say, because this company is registered in Mauritius, then they're not paying the amount of tax that they should be paying in Kenya or in any other country. And so then Mauritius is viewed suspiciously from a political lens by people in the various countries. Also the issue, for example, of the free port and such. How do you see that playing out? What's the kind of experience that you've had when you go and say, we are from Mauritius and we are promoting business, and people look at you? Do they tell you, oh, so you're the guys who are denying us tax revenues?
I think I would like to thank you for this question, because this gave me the opportunity to share some very important information. We had a report from Capital Economics report, which came into 2021, and I will mention it. The role of the Mauritius IFC is playing a strategic role in attracting investments and promoting for and across Africa. Just to give you some figures, more than US dollars 80 billion of investments have been structured from Mauritius into Africa. Very key information, you see. 80 billion US dollars investment have been structured from Mauritius into Africa. FDI mediated through Mauritius supports 42 million jobs in mainland Africa. So, and thirdly, taking tax. We talk tax, we know, but it is very unjust kind of approach towards Mauritius. And I can tell you, US dollars 6 billion US dollars, $6 billion US dollars of tax revenues for Africa, for African governments each year. So when we general comments, remarks, we do have, but when we have this study, commissioned last year, and this happened. I'm talking about last year's figures. So
this is a 2021 report.
So is it Capital Economics report? You can access that, and that gives you the different perspective of Mauritius. Mauritius is a partner. We are working together with the governments and everything. You see, there's nothing which is unjust approach, or we are capitalizing on certain unfortunate situations in other African countries. These figures, I think I mentioned it, you can check it, and this is very important. We tax $6 billion US dollars with tax revenues for the African governments for each year, you see. So I thank you for this question, and I think it is very important.
The argument here, Hemraj, is
yes,
because of the 80 billion shillings investments that have been structured from Mauritius to Africa. Basically, Mauritius then positions itself as the entry towards Africa. So this is basically FDI from outside Africa that is coming into Africa, but it has come in through Mauritius. Because, of course, of the tax.
This is only one aspect.
The benefit that they get, among others.
Among others, yes.
And then now these businesses, are they then centered within the African countries, or are they centered in Mauritius?
No. These are all investments within Africa.
Within
Africa, different segments, infrastructure, or healthcare, and on different. I don't have, all these different sectors. The investments in Africa.
So the benefit then that you say is, look at it from the benefit side. The benefit side is the kind of jobs that have been created through these investments. There are 42 million jobs that have been created within Africa. The kind of tax revenues that you've earned as African countries because of the investment that got in through the gateway called Mauritius is $6 billion dollars worth of tax revenues for the different African countries. So we say we look at it from that angle and not from any other angle.
I think I think the partnership approach is very important. We form part of Africa, and we have the African spirit. We do respect, we do cherish this African spirit. I think the going forward, is more to see how much Mauritius does our presence today, and also how can we work together, Of course, the cross-border investments will continue. The structures, we come from Mauritius, and we direct then the capital flow into Africa. The point is, what is the level of development that is creating in Africa? What are if we have natural resources, we have, as you said, young population, the educated class, everything. So once we have equity, when we have the finance coming in, and once is the development, then there are more opportunities for the people. I think we have to see the positive aside of this, value creation, for African countries, and also per se improvement in the living of the
living standards of the people
people.
those countries.
That is contribution.
Right.
When you see the mobile, the penetration of the mobile phones in Africa, in Kenya, you see how the standard of living is improving. You see, but it is going to improve if you don't have the openness policy, we don't have investments. That will not happen. You see, so I think we have to work to see Mauritius as a partner, as a credible partner, as a partner who is not making making out a situation that it is one-sided.
Yeah.
We are making profits, whatever. But we are a credible and long-time partner, and of course we'll have, as you said, also the inclusive approach going forward.
Yeah, and on that, I would like to add, this is very important because you mentioned about the type of approach. So the vision that we see, the vision is see the emergence, that we become a continent of middle class. And to be a continent of middle class, we need not only private and public, public analysis, civic sector also. The private is good in creation of wealth, public in developing the policies, managing, and the civic sector, very important for the common good. They act as the equilibrium, you see. So in this approach that we look at things and knowing the dangers that look at us, don't forget, Mauritius is a small island development state.
Yep.
Okay, we are vulnerable. Okay, and for us, it has always been a policy of win-win. We never thought of a policy of win-lose. And you have to understand that ecosystem Mauritius, because Mauritius, there was no native. People came from Africa to stay there. People came from Europe to stay there. People came from India and China. And when we develop our identity is an African identity.
Yeah.
You see? So in that particular identity, we cannot, with the main line of Africa that we belong, that we follow, that we live it in our day-to-day life, in our DNA, whatever is happening in it. So our motivations is to contribute for that upliftment, because at the end of the day, the upliftment of the people is the final objective.
Right. And can a balance be struck then between achieving and maintaining trade sovereignty, for example, for each country, while then participating in this intracontinental trade? Is it possible to have the maintenance of that sovereignty at national level for each country while also trading with one another?
We have to understand we operate within the market system. At the end of the day, it's about demand and supply. We have to create the demand. You may be in the demand side, you may be in the supply side. We cannot be everywhere. And the system that is prevailing where consumption is increasing, and consumption is increasing nearly exponentially, and we have seen the emergence of certain new important cities. Dubai is now an important city, but what was Dubai a couple of decades before, you see? So we can be while being practical, but visionary, okay, for all, and of course looking at the bigger picture, okay,
right,
be definitely successful. So the point is, we did, like you say initially, lots of talk. Now the question of walking the talk, so that at the next interview that we can state.
We'll be looking back at the progress made.
About successful case study that has happened through that persistent efforts of ours of saying, no, we never say die. We persist. We know there are difficulties. We persist. We develop trust, and we have this collaboration.
I want to go, because we're coming to the end of the conversation, as you talk about the delegation that you're leading in the country, the 25 entrepreneurs, you're meeting with local entrepreneurs as well, and government, and like you said as well, the civil sector. Where is the meeting? What's taking place? What kind of a structure are these conversations taking?
Maybe Geerish, you learn.
Yeah, in fact, we are meeting on Thursday and Friday at Mercure Hotel. Okay, we're having business forum. Initially, it's going to be a breakfast meeting with business forum where we are going to explain about this vision that we try to explain here, the merits of Mauritius, the merits of a partnership with Kenya, the merits of Africa, okay, all the advantages which is there, to get people to understand that doing business within the prevailing rule, say COMESA rule, you can buy from each other at duty free. You can get advantages like Kenya is having that we were not knowing. the question of connecting flight, connecting cargo, that we Mauritius are offering on the freight rebate scheme, the low tax prevailing, and how this alliance can bring even not only exchange of goods, exchange of services, exchange of people. There are Kenyans also attending the Middlesex University in Mauritius. Okay, there are a population of Kenyan students which is there. And we welcome them, and they are very happy for instead of going and paying that much in UK, and they are doing the same studies in Mauritius. So the ecosystem have got a number of advantages for both, because at the end of the day, we want Africa to grow.
That's the thing. So it's taking place at the Mercury Hotel, and this is the former Crown Plaza, Upper Hill.
Yeah.
You said there's a breakfast session tomorrow, and then
followed by B2B meetings with the 25 operators present, that we give the opportunity for them to explain about the product that they manufacture, that they are looking alliance, distributors, partners, or even, investors to join. Okay? So this is what we are looking for. Let's make a team.
Let's do that.
Let's construct.
Yeah. I know, Chairman, you'd like to add something, but we're running out of time.
Okay.
It's about 20 seconds. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. Hemraj Ramnial is the chairman of the Economic Development Board of Mauritius, joined in the studio by Geerish Bucktowonsing, Director of Industry. They're having this session tomorrow. Please, how do you join? Do you need to register, or do you just show up?
You can show up. It's on Thursday and Friday. There was linkage for registration, but they can also walk in to attend this particular event, which starts from 9:30.
Asante sana. Keep